If this is your first time photographing a wedding, make sure your couple know that. In this video, I'm going to help you plan your first job photographing a wedding. I'm going to talk you through what you need to remember, what you need to do in advance, and give you some really useful tips that I've put together over the last 5 or 6 years that will help make your first wedding job a success. Let's get straight into it. The first thing you need to know is, as a wedding photographer, the entire day can hinge around you. There's a train in the background. I'm going to apologise, I don't have a wireless mic on me. I swapped it out for the Hollyland M2S and I didn't charge the M2S, and the DJI mic's not in the car, so we're on the shotgun mic, so I don't know what the sound's going to sound like. It might be terrible, but we'll see. Getting back to it, the entire wedding day can and probably will hinge around you. No pressure. If you bring a decent energy to that day, you will keep everyone's spirits up. Everyone will look to you as being the makeshift planner, the organiser. People will come to you and ask you all sorts of weird and wonderful questions that you probably won't have a clue about. The more weddings you do, the more comfortable you will get with that kind of thing. But just be prepared. Certainly some people are going to come to you and ask you a few questions throughout the day as to how things are going, when things should be happening. But don't worry about it. I'm going to help you plan and help you get organised. First things first, you've booked your wedding. Well done. You're going to get out there and take some photographs. Research. Get onto Instagram, get onto Facebook, get onto the venue's own website. Look at the photographs that are already coming out of that place. That will give you some great inspiration as to what can be done at that venue. Look at the angles, look at the other people's pictures, and have a plan in your mind. Think about what you can create while you're there. Speak to your couple, get a good idea as to what style they want, try and find another photographer that's done something similar at that venue, and get ready to copy the living out of it with your own creative twist, of course. Getting onto creating your photographs, shot list. Sit down with your couple before the wedding and write a shot list out. You want to know exactly the photos they want to try and get out of this wedding. Predominantly, you want to get a list of which family members they want. They'll already have an idea in their mind. You can set this up when you first book the wedding, give them this information. I'll write a few bits out in the comment below, but you need a shot list. You need to know husband and wife, mum and dad of the bride, aunties, uncles. Get that list of everyone that you need to get photos of on the day, because inevitably what will happen is Uncle Ed will be at the bar buying a drink for him and his friends and everyone that's not seen for ages, and when you're doing all the photos, he will be nowhere to be found. So you'll not get a photo of him. A month or so later, you'll deliver the album and you'll get the question, did you get any pictures of my mum? Or did you get any pictures of Uncle Joe? And you haven't, because he was at the bar, he didn't know, he was just out of the way. So get a list of the people they want photos of on that day. Another tip, to help you with those photos, you need somebody who knows the family. You don't know the family, you don't know who these people are. So you need to ask the bride and groom who is the best person you can use on the day to help you run round getting all these people together. It will normally be a bridesmaid, a best man, one of the groomsmen, someone like that. When you're stood there taking photos of the bride and groom and they want Uncle Steve to come and get some photos taken, you need to be able to turn around to somebody and say, can you go grab Steve? I need him in these photos. And they'll do the running around for you. You don't have to do the legwork, you don't have to do the shouting. You don't have to have that big voice. If that's not you, it doesn't have to be you. You can get somebody else to do it for you. I mentioned this in the last video. Bring 2 camera bodies. If one camera dies during the day, you're in trouble. If you've only got one camera and this is your first wedding, fingers crossed it doesn't happen. You can't always have 2 cameras. It's not always feasible, especially if you're just starting out. But if you've got access to a second camera, if you can borrow one from a friend, it doesn't have to be a fancy one. It just has to be in your bag in case of emergencies. Leave it in the bag, don't touch it, don't get it out. Just use your main body if you have to. But try and have something on hand in case one of the cameras goes down. Try and get a fast lens. What I mean by a fast lens is something that opens up to 2.8 or 1.8. Again, I know that's not always going to be budget permitting if it's your first wedding, so we'll try and keep this as cost effective as possible. All manufacturers, Sony, Canon and Nikon, however you want to say it, Nikon, I'm English, they all make what they call a nifty 50. A 50mm lens, 1.8 aperture, that is nice and bright. I'll assume if you're doing a wedding, you're up to this level with knowing what I'm talking about, but a 1.8 aperture will give you a nice and bright photo, a nice shallow depth of field, fantastic for the indoor photos, and fantastic for portrait shots, for candid shots, stood a bit further back. The Canon version is about £100. The Nikon version, I've no idea, I've never shot with Nikon. I don't know why anyone would. Little dig at Nikon owners. Just kidding, they're fantastic. The camera doesn't really make a difference, it's the who's behind it that matters. Genuinely, it doesn't make a difference. Unless you're doing fancy sports photography and you need something that's got unbelievable focus, tracking and all that sort of thing, doesn't make a difference, honestly, it won't. Sony do a 50mm 1.8 lens, and on Prime Day I think it was £110. Normally it's about 140, 150, but it's fantastic. It will get you a professional looking image for not a lot of money on your camera, and it will really help out when you're taking photos indoors. Might be a bit tight at 50mm, but it's better than nothing. Have it in your bag, have it there just in case, and to help out and to get those nice portrait shots, those nice single shots, those people stood there, that beautiful bokeh behind you. 50mm 1.8, gotta have one in the bag if you don't have anything else. Take more batteries than you think you need. Try and buy some spare batteries. They don't have to be the genuine article at this point unless you've got the money to, but make sure you take a few batteries. Take a few batteries, take a power bank, take your charging equipment, because during the eating time, first wedding, you'll probably want to be up taking pictures. Nobody wants photos of themselves when they're eating. Maybe grab a couple of people sitting down. After that, get out of the way, have something to eat yourself, and charge your camera up. It's also a great time to dump your footage onto the hard drive of your laptop if you've got a laptop, so take that with you as well. Offload that footage, those photographs, always good to have backups. Same goes for SD cards. Dual memory card slots on a camera is fantastic. Always shoot with both recording at the same time, duplicate it, that way you've got redundant recording, what they call it. It means you've got backups if anything goes wrong. If that isn't an option, just do little bits and save it, and try and regularly offload them, regularly put them onto the laptop. That way if a card did fail halfway through something, you've not lost an entire day, you've just lost an hour of that day. Try and give yourself regular backup times. Dress comfortably. It's going to be a long day, and whether you book for 3 or 4 hours or not, it's going to be a long day, because you're going to do the full day. Even if they've only agreed to do the short part, this is your first wedding, you're going to do the full thing because you want all the footage, you want everything. I always go for either a smart polo shirt or a short sleeve shirt, because you'll get warm, and usually either some chinos or maybe some trousers. Smart jeans is okay. You're at the wedding. You don't have to be in a suit, but by the same token, show a little bit of respect and turn up looking smart, but you must be comfortable. You are going to be active on that day. You want to turn up early and you want to get going later on. As I said just a minute ago, even if you're only booked for a little bit before the ceremony and afterwards, if this is your first wedding, do the whole thing. Sacrifice the day, throw yourself at the altar of hard work. This will hopefully help you book more weddings. So just do the full day, even if they've only paid for a small portion of it. On this one, do the full day. Another reason you want to get there early is A, scout out those shots that you've already seen on Instagram and Facebook of where you might get those angles, where they are. Go and have a look with the camera, frame it up yourself. But also, before everyone gets there, this is the time that you grab your establishing shots. The venue's empty, the room's empty. Take pictures of it before people turn up and just muck the place around. Get photos of the settings, the tables, the table placements. Create that shot list in your mind and on paper. Write them down. Write down all the photos that you want to get. Write it all down. Pen and paper it, old school. Just get them all written down, because when the day comes, you'll be so busy you'll forget. So get everything written down. But getting there early before people start milling around, that's when you get all your establishing shots. Get a timeline. There's a car coming now, I'm going to just put this down. I still get embarrassed, it's still horrible, don't judge me. Work to a timeline. Your couple, with their wedding planner, will have organised a timeline for the day. They'll have a timeline, they'll know what time people are getting there, they'll know what time the ceremony starts, they'll know what time the wedding actually goes ahead, they'll know what time they've got the first dancers, the reception, they'll know it all, they'll have a timeline. Ask for a copy of that timeline. It is fantastic, it is exactly what you need to make sure that you hit the mark with this. You need to know when things are happening so you can be in the right place. Train going past in the background, I'm sure you can hear that, fantastic. You need to get them microphones charged. Work to that timeline. And when you've got a spare minute and you know what's happening in the timeline, we're going to talk about the next tip. Practice your shots first. If you know the bride's about to walk down the aisle dial in your settings, get on the back of the camera, make sure everything's all right, get everything set properly, make sure your shutter speed's fast enough so that they don't come out blurry, make sure your focus is set right. I'll talk about that next in a minute. Make sure everything's set before that big moment. Don't just wait for them to start walking towards the aisle and start clicking away. All right, frame it up. And when it comes to setting your camera up, 2 important things that you need to know. Focus, continuous autofocus. Don't do single focus or point focus, spot focus, or like continuous autofocus. You want to lock onto a subject and just keep tracking that subject. I think on Canon it's servo AF, I think it is, or Sony it's continuous focus mode. Whatever it is, look into your camera settings, continuous focus. The next one, shoot RAW. If you shoot JPEG still, this is the time you need to up your game and figure out how to shoot RAW. It's no different, absolutely no different. You expose the same, everything's the same. It just means that if you stuff it up and get the exposure wrong, you have got a much better chance of salvaging those images. Much better chance. Shoot in RAW. If you need help on what to do with photos after RAW, just comment below. I'll do a video on how to deal with RAW photos, but it's not a big deal. It's super easy. Don't be scared of doing your photos in RAW. But if you're shooting a wedding, you have to shoot the images in RAW. It gives you so much more information to work with after the fact. You can bang a preset on there, nice and easy, super easy, don't panic about that. But if you get a photo and it's messed up, you've got it too dark or too light, there is a chance you can recover it with a RAW image. You can recover some. I've had pictures that have almost looked black, you can't see anything on them, but you can recover them. It might not be the prettiest image, but that's where we'll come on to tip number 2. If you get an image that is just the exposure's not good, it's too contrasty, there's harsh lighting, it just doesn't look right, you've tried editing it, tweaking it every which way you can and it still doesn't look right, flip it to black and white. Black and white will hide so many of your sins, it is ridiculous. The amount of photos I've taken that have been good photos, but they've just looked naff because the colouring's not right, the contrast's not right, it's just not... some of the colours you get at these weddings, the lighting's terrible, the disco, all that kind of junk. Sometimes you just can't make it look right, no matter how hard you try. Black and white it makes them look... I would say, out of most of the images that I've taken that have looked a bit naff in colour, I've almost always been able to send them on to the client in black and white. It almost always works. Black and white it, every time, before you bin it off. Don't overshoot everything. Don't take thousands of photos. I do it all the time. I take far too many photos, and you're gonna have to sit there at home and go through them all, and it's soul destroying. It will suck every last bit of joy out of it. So don't just snap endlessly. You want to get loads of pictures because you want to deliver lots of pictures, that's fine. But just keep in mind, shoot consciously. With digital camera, it's easy to come away from a wedding with 7,000-8,000 photographs, and you're only ever going to deliver. Rule of thumb on delivering your photographs, I'll cover that one off, next great tip, but you're only ever going to deliver between 400-500 photos to maybe 1,000, 1,500 if it's a full day and it's all action-packed. Don't shoot 5,000-6,000 photographs. How many photos should you deliver on your first wedding? I kind of work on, depends how many hours you've worked. I like to work on a rough rule of thumb that for every hour I'm there photographing, I'll deliver between 50, 70 images for every hour I'm there. So that's roughly an image a minute. Now, you're not going to take an image a minute every minute of the hour, but over the course of, say, 10 hours, I'm going to deliver between 500 and 800 images, but they're going to be good quality images. That's kind of how I work to it. Some weddings I've gone way over, some weddings I wouldn't say under. I would say that's what you want to be aiming to. If you've been there for 4 or 5 hours, you want 300-400 images really, as a rough rule of thumb, as a minimum guideline. And last but not least, there are more tips. So if this video does well, I'll do a part 2 of this. Thank the bride and groom before you disappear at the end of the night. Thank them for having you. Thank them for your time. Thank them for their time. Thank them for taking a chance on you, because it's your first wedding, don't forget. And make sure you ask them if they've had a nice day. It is their day, remember that. Have you had a nice day? Have you enjoyed yourself? Hopefully I've got everything that you want. I'll get them to you as soon as possible. But thank you for having me. And thank you for watching to this point in the video. I'm just going to put an extra bit on the end now that I'm going to put into the beginning because it is an important one. If this is your first time photographing a wedding, make sure your couple know that. Don't try and pull the wool over their eyes. Don't try and pretend you're a seasoned pro. Stylized shoots semi-count, but they're not the same as photographing a proper wedding. Make sure you let them know that this is the first wedding you've done. You want them to know they're taking a chance on you. You want that as a backup if things start getting a bit hectic. I've been in a couple of situations 6-7 months into doing it where my work's been fantastic. I'll say that to myself. I'll say that quite proudly. My work's been good. People have felt like I was a seasoned wedding photographer and have really been piling the pressure on me, not realising that actually 6-7 months in, bearing in mind the lead time for doing a wedding, I've probably done 4 or 5 weddings at this point, and it's still relatively new to me. So if it is your first wedding, please make sure your couple know that it's the first wedding and you are thankful to them for giving you a chance. That is me done. I'm going to get home now because it's getting late. Look, sunset just there, looking gorgeous. But I'm going to call it a night, get home. Yeah, if this video does well, I will do a part 2. There are loads of tips on your first wedding, and I'll try and speed through a few in another video maybe, if this does well. All right, thank you for tagging along. Hopefully the audio's worked well. See you later.